Hello. Today I would like to talk about the missile strikes that are happening in Israel. Today will be a little different because I'm going to show you pictures of the strikes in Israel and Kushner, Trump's Middle Eastern advisor. So, as you may heard from the news, that there's been some strikes in Israel, and I just wanted to talk to you about it because this is very important, especially that Israel is involved in the Bible. So the first thing I need to show you is the verses supporting of what's happening in Israel. Believe it or not, Israel is playing a role in biblical prophecy. So I'm going to take it to verse, first letter of Thessalonians 5:3, which says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So when you read that part, that when they say peace and security, they said that there will be sudden destruction about them. So those are the Israelites talking. We know that Israel has been in conflict for so many years. After its inception in 1948 on May 15 or 14. Now, let's go to Hosea 6:2, because that's something that actually is interesting to me. So let's go to 5:20 on my King James Bible. And I shall show you the verse. Okay, there you go. Hosea 6. And it says, After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So, this is interesting because there's the second day and the third day. But believe it or not, this is a prophecy code. In the Bible, a day means 1,000 years, which says it in second letter of Peter and in second letter of Peter 3:8 and Psalm 94. And I'm gonna read them out for you, so you could see what it says literally. Right here. God, that was a long one. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years. 1,000 years as one day. And when I go to Psalm, it's going to say the same thing. Now, let's go to 90, and it's right here. So it says, for 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. So notice that. So this is David talking to God. That's why he says. Thy sight. He's talking to God. He's not talking to you, because we know that we ain't gonna live for 1,000 years, but just a few years, 90, 100 for some people. And so that's God. He says that a day is 1,000 years for him, and that 1,000 years is like a day. So this is a code. Now I have printed a timeline. of the Hosea prophecy from the WordPad. I used WordPad so that I could print the thing out. Here it is. So let me get my pen. You know what? I just got my pencil. I'll get my pencil. The color pencil. This is what I could find. So the timeline starts from 30 AD to 3030 AD. AD stands for after Christ. I don't know how you say in their original language, but it means like after Christ was born. So BC is like before Christ was born, and AD was after Christ was born. Now, we all know, or some of you know, that at 30 AD, Christ got crucified. And in somewhere here, 70 AD, the Jews were scattered. They were scattered. And that was like 40 years after Christ was crucified by the Jews. And so I put this thing here, this column. So this is the first day, and this is the second day. So notice that when we were reading Hosea 6:2, it says, "He will revive us." So the second day includes the 2 years, 1030 AD and 2030 AD. 2030 is like 10 years away from us, a decade, and this was like I don't know, like 995 years. I literally did that in my head. And right here, what Hosea meant by revive, he meant by bringing back. Because remember, in 70 AD, Israel died. The Jews were scattered. All the Jews were scattered. And they were sold to slavery, some were killed. You can read it in the Jewish diaspora in Wikipedia. Just go to Roman destruction in Judea. And they were cursed. Even like when the Third Reich were killing the Jews, that was a curse. Because they killed Christ. Let me tell you something. 70 AD is biblical. You know why? Because in Matthew, it talks about just that. Alright, and it says in verse 31 that, "Then saith Jesus unto them, All ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad." So the sheep of the flock, they're the Jews. And when the Jews strike the shepherd, that is Jesus, they will get scattered. And so we know that groups and subgroups of the Jews in Jerusalem were separated to all different parts of the world. To, I don't know, Ethiopia, to Europe, to Rome, even, and so on. And I find this to be so interesting because it goes like a domino effect. Like one country becomes communist, the other one becomes a communist. It's just like that. It goes event by event. And now let me show you the, wait, how did this, oh. And let me show you something. In the third day, this is the year, this is the millennium where Jesus Christ will come. That's why in Hosea 6:2 it says, "And we will be in God's sight on the third day." on the third day. Isn't that incredible? That it says in the third day. I find that pretty incredible. And it's not that far. It's just like 10 years from now. Now, I'm going to show you the photos so you can see the stuff. So, when I showed you the first letter of Thessalonians 5:3, this is what I was talking about. Mr. Kushner, he was the one that was doing the peace and security in the Middle East, because of course there have been wars going on. A lot of wars, a lot of conflicts. So you see peace and security. It says it just that, peace and security. And just for you to know, when people start declaring peace and security, they're going to be talking about what happened at the Middle East, the agreement. Right here. So this is the Israel United Arab Emirates Peace Agreement. And I'm going to read it for you. The Israel United Arab Emirates Normalization Agreement, officially the Abraham Accords Peace Agreement, Treaty of Peace, diplomatic relations, and full normalization between the United Arab Emirates, Wikipedia. Signatories Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Donald Trump. The start date was September 15, 2020. So that was 2 months ago. Effective upon ratification by both parties. Ratifiers Israel Cabinet, October 12, 2020, and location in the Middle East. Wow. Now, because of this peace agreement, people will start saying there's now peace and security. But you know what happened on the 15th of November? This happened. There was an attack from Gaza that took place on the 15th of November. It was published by Times of Israel. This is the link if you want to see the article. And I just realized now, the agreement, the start date, it took place on September 15th, 2020. And look at this. 15th of November. 2 months. 2 months. Last month was like, what? It was October. It was October. So incredible that God has a perfect time to do something. Because you see, Israel is cursed. Because they killed Christ and they haven't accepted him, God is angry at Israel. And he's trying to turn Israel from wickedness back to holiness, like it was before. Well, like not like it was back before, but what his intended purpose was. God doesn't want this, but Israel is cursed, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you have a great afternoon. If you'd like to learn more about this topic, go to AOC Network and find videos about Israel and Hosea. Thank you, and God bless.